Nearly 100,000 evacuated, more than 1,000 flights cancelled. China's eastern coast is shutting down. Typhoon Dolphin is closing in with winds topping 160 kilometres per hour. Ports are closed, fishing fleets are sheltering, and torrential rain could trigger flash floods and landslides. China is now on its highest storm alert. Typhoon Dolphin is bearing down on eastern China, prompting the highest level storm alert as authorities shut ports, suspend ferry services, and evacuate tens of thousands ahead of potentially destructive winds, flooding and landslides. China's National Meteorological Center raised its typhoon warning to red, the highest level, on Sunday. At 10 a.m. local time, Dolphin was about 215 kilometers east of Hangzhou in Zhejiang, packing maximum sustained winds of 45 meters per second, or around 162 kilometers per hour, and moving west at up to 25 kilometers per hour. Footage showed rough seas pounding the coastline, fishing boats sheltering in harbors, and ferry terminals standing empty. Patrol vessels monitored waterways while offshore construction sites were shut. The precise location of some footage could not be independently verified. In Fujian, nearly 99,000 people had been relocated from high-risk areas by Saturday evening. All 1,210 fishing boats in Fuding had returned to port, while authorities suspended 55 passenger ferry routes and halted work at 115 offshore construction sites. Zhejiang imposed even broader restrictions. Hangzhou raised its typhoon emergency response to level 1, the highest level, while all 162 passenger ferry routes across the province were suspended. Work also stopped at 193 offshore projects, and 474 construction vessels were moved to shelter. Forecasters warned that parts of eastern China could face torrential rainfall, with 250 to 440 millimeters expected along sections of Zhejiang's eastern coast. Rain and powerful winds are forecast to continue through August 12th, with some areas potentially seeing rainfall exceeding 80 millimeters an hour, raising the risk of flash floods and landslides. Typhoon Dolphin is expected to make landfall between Zhoushan in Zhejiang and Fuding in Fujian from Sunday night into early Monday, before weakening inland. The storm has already affected transport across the region. Shanghai's two main airports cancelled 1,384 flights, while Hangzhou suspended nearly 300, according to China Central Television. Rail services in parts of the Yangtze River Delta have also been suspended. The latest warning is China's second red typhoon alert of 2026, following Typhoon Noel in late July. The China Meteorological Administration also raised its emergency response to level 2 on August 9th. Typhoon Dolphin's wider impact has already been felt across the region. In Taiwan's New Taipei, a tornado swept through Tamsui on Saturday as the storm passed north of the island. The Central Weather Administration said the phenomenon lasted around half an hour. Local reports said a waterspout formed offshore before moving inland. Earlier, Dolphin also battered Japan's Okinawa, disrupting flights and cutting power to tens of thousands of buildings. With the typhoon now approaching China's densely populated eastern coastline, authorities are racing to reduce exposure before the storm's strongest winds and heaviest rainfall arrive. Typhoon Dolphin is sweeping across East Asia, leaving a trail of injuries and power outages in southern Japan, while forcing China to shut ports, suspend ferry services, and prepare for potentially severe flooding. On August 8th, the Japan Meteorological Agency said the Dolphin was about 160 kilometers northwest of Kume Island in Okinawa, moving northwest at around 15 kilometers per hour. The storm was packing maximum sustained winds of 162 kilometers per hour, with gusts reaching 216 kilometers per hour. In Okinawa, 5 elderly people suffered non-life-threatening injuries, including 3 who fell because of the powerful winds. according to the Okinawa prefectural government. Around 14,000 buildings lost power, while ANA and Japan Airlines cancelled flights to the region. Okinawa and Amami Island in Kagoshima Prefecture remain the main areas at risk in Japan as Typhoon Dolphin moves toward China. China is now preparing for the storm's expected landfall along its eastern and southern coast between late August 9th and early August 10th. The China National Meteorological Center said the most likely landfall zone is between Zhejiang in Zhejiang Province and Fujian in Fujian Province, with winds near the center potentially reaching 38 to 45 meters per second. Forecasters warned that heavy rain and strong winds could continue across eastern China through August 12th, with parts of eastern Zhejiang potentially receiving more than 600 millimeters of rain. Authorities in Zhejiang have raised the coastal typhoon alert to its highest level, halted port operations and suspended 162 passenger ferry routes. Ningbo Lishe International Airport suspended operations, while Shanghai's Yangshan port had already been cleared of vessels. Some rail services across the Yangtze River Delta are also due to be suspended. China's Ministry of Water Resources activated a level 4 emergency flood response on Friday, August 7th, covering Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Anhui, Fujian, and Jiangxi.
The 6 regions, namely Shanghai, Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Anhui, Fujian, and Jiangxi, all located in East China, will see downpours from Saturday to Wednesday, with several rivers expected to record substantial water level rises.
The ministry has ordered authorities to strengthen monitoring and manage rivers, reservoirs, and other water projects to reduce the risk of flooding and mountain torrents. Meanwhile, Taiwan is also expecting heavy rain in its north, although no evacuations had been ordered as of August 8th. The approaching storm has also triggered a fresh dispute over the Taiwan Strait. China ordered ships passing through the waterway to follow its traffic control instructions, prompting Taipei to call the move ridiculous and reject Beijing's claim to restrict access to what Taiwan considers international waters. As Dolphin, identified as the 13th typhoon of 2026, moves closer, governments across the region are racing to protect coastal communities, transport networks, and critical infrastructure from what could become a prolonged period of extreme rain, flooding, and destructive winds.